Hi everybody, it's God's Girl G. Thank you so much for joining me today. For those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. And for those of you returning to this channel to watch this video and you're not already subscribed, why don't you do so by clicking the subscribe icon below? And if during the course of this video you hear something that you like, click the thumbs up, comment below, or better yet, share this video with someone who you feel could benefit from its information. With that stated, let's get into today's discussion. I recently did a video all about dealing with difficult people. And today I'm doing a video on a special class of difficult people, and that is vengeful and intimidating people. They take difficulty to a whole nother level. Now, at one time or another, most of you have dealt with a vengeful and intimidating person. I mean, after all, they can definitely leave their mark on your memory. That can hit a nerve and make you want to either lash out or avoid them completely. And it's funny because many intimidating and vengeful people are often passive aggressive, meaning you don't always cognitively recognize what they're doing. It's not on the surface. However, our spirit knows when it's being attacked, and feeling uncomfortable around someone, even if you can't say why, it's a good sign that they're being vindictive. So what is a Christian to do? The Bible entreats all Christians to refrain from retaliation as a means of waging war or unleashing their anger on their enemies. Romans 12:19 says, "Vengeance is mine, and as a matter of fact, we must present our cases to him whenever justice needs to be served." In Matthew 5:38, we find the next few verses are about justice and revenge. God has given us some legitimate avenues for justice here on earth. But Jesus warns us that personal revenge is something completely different. Revenge may taste sweet, but it's wrong. Jesus calls us to respond counterintuitively. So instead of meeting evil with a greater force, he urges us to meet evil with a completely different force, with good. Instead of paying back in kind, we are called to pay back in kindness. Dealing with difficult people, such as intimidating and vengeful people, not only tests our faith in God, but also puts our witness on display. One biblical character who responded well to difficult people was David. He triumphed over many offensive people to become king of Israel. When he was only a teenager, David encountered one of the most intimidating types of difficult people, the bully. Bullies can be found in the workplace, at home, and in schools. And they can usually frighten us with not only just their physical strength, but also their position of power. Goliath was a giant of a Philistine who had terrorized the entire Israelite army with his size and skill as a fighter. No one dared to meet this bully in combat until David shows up. David saw through the giant's taunts. Even as a young shepherd boy, David understood what it meant to be a servant of God. David says in 1 Samuel 17:47, "All those here will know that it is not by sword or spear that the Lord saves. For the battle is the Lord's, and he will give all of you into our hands." So how do we deal with these intimidating, vengeful people? Because after all, we are not exempt as Christians from dealing with them. But we do have plenty of resources and abundant tools that we can call upon. So the next time you're faced with someone who seems to be tap dancing on your last nerve, consider one of these tactics that I'm getting ready to share to deal with them. 1, ask the Holy Spirit to intercede. If you know you're about to enter into a difficult interaction, petition the Holy Spirit to light the path before you and touch the hearts of all of those who are involved with the spirit of receptivity and reconciliation. 2, pray for self-control and discernment. Even if it's in the heat of the moment, try to pause and pray for perspective and poise. If you can keep your composure, you'll feel more dignified and better able to hear guidance about what to do and say next. 3, diffuse the situation by depersonalizing it. Ask yourself the question, is this conflict really about me? It could be that the other person has just experienced a horrible loss or is enduring a painful physical challenge. Try to become more spacious and generous with your attention instead of contracted and self-focused. Put yourself in the other person's shoes and be open to the idea that the situation may have nothing to do at all with you. If you can bring some humor and levity into the situation, all the better. 4, turn the pointing finger around. Examine your own reactions, judgments, and projections. Sometimes we keep the focus on their transgressions to avoid coping with our own. Prayerfully search inside yourself and ask yourself, how am I contributing to this? Is the person reminding me of myself when I've done the same thing? What are my true motives for my words and actions? 5, pray for them. Even if sometimes you might be praying through gritted teeth with clenched fists, try remembering Matthew chapter 5, verse 44. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless those who curse you, do good to those that hate you, and pray for those who spitefully use you and persecute you. Be aware of the grace in which you handle the situation, because it might be a catalyst that causes a troubled person to see things differently. They might even ask you, are you a person of faith? Tell me more. As long as we are human and on this side of heaven, we will encounter problems. And yes, encounter those people who are intimidating and vengeful. But with patience, reflection, and humility, we can turn those challenging situations around, or at least make a sincere effort. We can't control intimidating and vengeful people, and we certainly can't change them. But with God's guidance, we can help navigate the situation to cope with it better. And maybe the best way to sum all of this up is to say this: deal with people with love. God will take care of justice. It may not be when we want it. It may not be how we want it, but He will make sure that justice gets done. Thank you so much for joining me today. And don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Bye.